All right, I think, let's see. Let's wait for, the stream started and look at that. We are now, let's see, are we live there? We are live. Yay! Hey, hey everybody. Happy Friday. It is
everybody.
It is July 19th, 12:30 right here Eastern, and my name is Chris Melissinos, and I'm one of the folks that gets to sit down with my friends every week and talk about why video games are awesome and all the awesome game news that's happening over there. I'm the principal evangelist for video games at AWS and big old game nerd. And with us, as always, is Mr.
Dean Takahashi. I'm the lead writer for GameSpeed and VentureBeat, and I help organize the GameSpeed Summit events. Next one's coming October 28th, 29th in San Francisco.
Awesome. And with us today as well.
Hey, it's Mark DeLoura. How you doing?
Hey.
I don't know what I am.
You know here. You am what you am. That's what it is. I am what I am, Popeye.
Nice to see you guys.
It's great to see you too. Unfortunately, Susan will be unable to join us today. It's late. You know, she always joins us from across the pond. So it's early for you all, midday for me, super late for her on a Friday. So she sends her apologies, but there we go. So so let's go ahead and jump straight in. There's always a lot of news to talk about, but I guess kicking us straight off, as always, Mr. Takahashi, why don't you lead us in with some of your big bets of news for this week?
Let's see. Well, they announced Call of Duty Black Ops 6 multiplayer beta coming on August 30th, and it's going to be on all platforms at the same time, so PC and console. Used to be in the good old days before Microsoft bought Activision Blizzard that Sony would always get this a week early. So that's a little consequence of the mega acquisition. So that's the sort of money's worth that Microsoft is getting out of that deal. Is they get Call of Duty at the same time as Sony now.
And I think you just referred to it as the
mega acquisition.
So yeah.
Wow, do you got a hockey for that?
That's why I'm drinking tea. There's something stuck in my throat.
So
yeah, no, that's really cool that, make it out to more people. But yes, first is back in the good old days, right?
Yeah. And Fruit Ninja is debuting on yet another platform. And in this case, I didn't even know the platform existed. Did you guys catch which platform this is?
The N-Gage 2.
No,
that's not. Oh.
No, it's not the N-Gage. I put that one out of my mind.
And you're welcome for me sticking it right back in there.
Yeah. So no, it's the Next Playground, NEX. And I did an interview with Tom Kang, who used to be at Walmart and running a lot of game integrations there, but now is president of Nex, and it's a motion gaming console. Pretty small, this size or so, with cameras in it that detects your movement. So it's just like the Wii, except you don't have to use a Wii remote. You just use your body as the controller. And so, you make a slicing motion with your arm, and it'll detect that and just translate it into the game.
What is it called again? And you said you wrote an article about it, or?
Yeah, Next Playground. It ran on the 15th.
All right, let's go check that
console.
out.
Yeah,
I'm gonna pop that up here.
So Fruit Ninja has made its way there. They have about 30 games in the works altogether. 25 already out. It actually debuted in a soft launch this December, and now they're starting to move it into retail, and they're going to have a more formal launch later this year. So interesting, but yeah, you can buy it now. It's like $180, and you can get a subscription to get all of the games on it. Yeah, they're all sort of in the area of kids games or fitness games, or very active motion game. So another sort of exercising game console.
Very interesting. You see in your article here, Dean, that you said that they noted previous machines like Nintendo Wii and Microsoft Kinect for the Xbox 360 really established the market there. I'm wondering how close this technology is to, what the Kinect was, or if it's more like remember the old Logitech camera games where it would try to go ahead and figure out where you are and just use your two hands to bounce stuff across the screen. You're like, we're living in the future. Oh my gosh, and how are we doing this?
Yeah, I guess the responsiveness is really the name of the game here. How good is it at detecting you?
Very cool. Oh, great! Now another gadget for me to have to try out. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, they said they sold 15,000 units during this sort of soft launch phase here, and they got this console to market with 55 people on staff. So imagine that, getting a console out.
Yeah, and that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Let's see. Other news we had. There was a very interesting report from PwC, the big accounting and professional services firm, and they every year they for 25 years now they come out with a report on the size of the entire global entertainment and media industries, and within that they do an assessment of where games are, and all of entertainment is $2.8 trillion in revenues. For games, I guess the interesting thing, about 9% of that is games, and that seems really small offhand when you think about like how big gaming has become and how fast it's growing and how everybody talks about it's the biggest entertainment industry, but they lump a lot of things into entertainment and media, and so it's kind of in some ways a sobering number, and they predicted growth rates for up to 2028 as well, and so I think we have a 3.2% economic sort of GDP growth figure for last year, and entertainment, it will grow at 3.9% for 5 years here coming, and then the game industry is more like at about a 4.3% growth rate. So what's interesting is like Newzoo showed an actual sort of dip in numbers for the game industry during the sort of post-pandemic crash.
Right.
Really, mostly because of a dip in mobile game sales, but PwC has different numbers. They show gaming consistently growing even now during the middle of all these layoffs that we've had, and so I think the revenue for global gaming is expected to hit 8.2% over 5 years, a CAGR. So that's it's pretty healthy, pretty good. The numbers, I think, in some ways, gaming has gotten so much attention lately. You would sort of think that it's just bigger than it actually is when you measure all these things. So very, very interesting. I think people will quibble about the numbers, especially the ones that show continuous growth. It doesn't feel like continuous growth, but interesting that they put this in context against 13 other entertainment industries as well. So.
Yeah, so JP, in LinkedIn chat, which I should also mention, we are successfully now finally streaming out to LinkedIn and YouTube at the same time. So I've got two chats going here, so you're going to see me bouncing back and forth. But JP over on the LinkedIn side said, hey, can you share the PwC report, or is that paywalled? So I don't know if you link to it in an article or if it's paywalled or not, Dean.
I think I have to actually go and get the link still and maybe put it in the story. I don't remember getting the final on that
Okay.
that link. So
Yeah, because it would be really interesting to understand what they classify as entertainment, right? Versus things to entertain us, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, actually, I'm gonna just shoot it to you in the chat here, and then if you don't mind posting that, I'm not on that page.
you got it. You got
anyway,
it.
there it is.
Mark, maybe if you can
They
grab
break
that.
out by social, mobile, hardware, software. I don't know if they do that, but my belief, just based on what you've said, is that there may be a consistent curve, or we may have had a growth over the course of 5 years, but the balance has shifted.
Mhm.
That's what it feels like. Is it's like
Mhm.
there's not layoffs for no reason.
Yeah. Yeah.
There are definitely sectors.
Yeah,
that
I
are
think
better
there's
or
things like growing social and casual gaming reach into um, more billions of people, but the core of gaming itself, PC and console, is a smaller and smaller share, and so
I can get that.
yeah, I think that makes sense. Um, but yeah, it's interesting to get a look at how they slice and dice things here.
Yeah. How does that track? If either of you have seen it, how does that track along with ComScore's research, which I know that you also published, Dean?
Yeah, Jordan did that story, so I didn't actually look at the ComScore numbers. They did have a report come out this week as well, and I can shoot over to that story. Let's see. I think it was kind of a different number that they had in the headline there.
Yeah, I've got the link up here on the
Okay.
site so everyone can actually see it. It's 40% of U.S. gamers play PC, console, and mobile games, according to ComScore. But I haven't dug into
that, and mobile part is, I guess, getting interesting.
which one, the and mobile.
Oh, I mean, the PC and console players are also playing on mobile, I guess.
Oh, so these numbers may be duplicated, same player, just on a different platform.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
Well, that's one way of getting your numbers up.
Yeah, but getting getting those players to play mobile games has always been sort of a question mark, right? But with ComScore says at least 40% are doing that, so it's an improvement for mobile, really, I guess, to get some of the hardcore gamers.
Mark, do you think that tracks that hardcore gamers are not necessarily playing on mobile?
60% they're not playing.
Yeah, I think I believe that. What they're playing is, super light. And they don't think of it as games. I mean, I'm trying to think of the last phone game that I played, and it's been a really long time. I'm not a hardcore gamer by any stretch, but I tend towards things on the PC and a console most of the time.
Yeah.
That didn't used to be the case, I guess. I mean, it feels a little bit like, I don't know, my experience, and I wonder if other people have had similar, was that during the pandemic, I played a lot more games, and a lot more games while I was sitting on the couch watching TV.
Mm-hmm.
And then post-pandemic, my time to play games is more focused.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm doing less of that multitasking gaming, and I'm doing more of, like, when I'm playing a game, I'm playing a game. And for me, that's mostly on the PC.
Yeah, for me, it's with Steam Deck and Switch. I'm like, and the other evening we were sitting in our sunroom, and I had the Switch and my Steam Deck with me. My wife's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm updating one while I'm trying out some of the Steam summer sale stuff." Right, so it's not mobile for me. The only game I'm really even touching on mobile is Monopoly Go.
And you're barely even touching that, right? Because you don't have to.
It is. Look at all of the lights.
It's so shiny.
for an ADD guy, it's perfect.
It's really well done that way.
It is very well done. Well, that leads us right into another story that Dean has on GamesBeat about Monopoly Go.
Let's see. That one is Rachel's story, I think, right? Yeah. It's like a meta kind of thing for Monopoly there. Like it starts out as a board game, gets $2 billion in 10 months as Scopely's mobile game, and now that mobile game and its particular innovations are going to go back into board game. so Hasbro is sort of doing an updated Monopoly for Monopoly Go fans.
Exactly right. Exactly. So you have a video game based on a board game, creating the board game based on the video game. So we've come full circle, folks. That's exactly how that worked. Get ready to go.
Yeah, that's fun. I think I don't know. Let's see how well that does for Hasbro. The sad news about the Halo series happened after 2 seasons. Paramount Plus decided to cancel Halo, the TV show. So for the 3rd season, Microsoft's people are still shopping it around to see if someone else will pick it up. But that adaptation was never very popular with fans. Sort of too much, say, divergence from the Halo series, and I think more of the fans wanted to see Master Chief with his helmet on and not his helmet off, and especially going into battle, not without a helmet. So funny how fans are, I guess. But yeah, the first season, I watched the first season, and it didn't really grab me. I thought it was okay, but nothing quite spectacular about it. So did you guys, anybody catch the 2nd season? I did not.
On my list, but I didn't get at it yet.
Yeah, but I guess when you compare that and how they handle that to how Fallout turned out, right? Fallout this week got 17 nominations for Emmys. That was pretty amazing. There was also apparently one Emmy nomination for Twisted Metal as well.
Wow.
So
I completely missed that one.
Yeah.
I have to go back.
Yeah, Twisted Metal. I didn't watch that one either. I forget which service it was on. It was on a service, one of the services I didn't subscribe to. So,
well, that's the reason I didn't see Halo is Paramount. I'm not subscribed to Paramount Plus. I mean, how many do we?
Yeah, I signed up for Paramount Plus just for Halo, right?
Yeah.
And after that, decided to drop it. So.
Well, the Star Treks are on Paramount. What is with you guys?
And you didn't say Star Wars, so I don't know.
Star Trek Discovery, man. Star Trek Discovery.
I don't know what nonsense you're spewing, but I mean, look, we only signed up for Peacock because it was the only way to watch the Thanksgiving Day parade last Thanksgiving, and it was like $20 for the year. For 1 year. I'm like, okay, $20 for the year. We'll go ahead and do that.
Like those magazine subscriptions. It's only $12 this year. Next year, and it'll be $60.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, it's a good thing you can cancel month by month, huh?
Yeah. For now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another little tidbit of news: Ubisoft reported their Q1 results, and just a couple of weeks before everybody else is going to report their Q2 results. I guess the French are, they go on their own time, I guess, but they were up, reasonably well, and they noted X Defiant has had 10 million players so far. So their challenger to Call of Duty, a free-to-play game shooter, is doing pretty good out of the gate. So interesting results for them. I think when they also said they revealed Assassin's Creed Shadows, which is set in Japan. Everybody's looking forward to that sort of samurai and ninja combination for AC.
Yeah.
They said the rest of the franchise also saw a big bump in interest because of the announcement of the new game.
That's nice.
You can't play yet, right? So very interesting effect of just announcing a new game in the franchise. People got excited about. They did delay the mobile game for Rainbow Six Siege, so we'll see when that comes out. And their big games, coming soon are Assassin's Creed Shadows and Star Wars Outlaws. And a lot of the Star Wars Outlaws preview impressions have been hitting lately. I think they're good, and they're makes the game's coming out on August 30th, and so that's probably the next big AAA game we're going to see.
Yeah, and there was a lot of really good buzz and some historical pieces done about, where it came from, the origins of it, how that they structured that stuff. So I do like, it's not just about all of your, it's not just about all of your, the Star Wars chronology that we know and love, but expanding stories into the broader universe. That's the stuff I like. And Disney's been leaning into that with their programming, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I
played
still haven't
it.
seen the new one.
Yeah, I played it in June at the Summer Game Fest, and it was very Uncharted-like, I guess. In fact, they have the same little yellow designators where you're supposed to climb and things like that on the walls and the cliffs and things like that. So lots of climbing, but I think sort of at this point a sort of industry-wide sort of just familiar gameplay kind of activity, I guess.
Yeah.
So you can climb a lot.
Very good.
Mm-hmm.
All right, what else we got?
Let's see. Mobile games are growing a bit again in Japan, which is interesting because around the world, mobile games have been weak for a couple of years, especially since Apple sort of chose to put a focus on user privacy over targeted advertising, and so targeted advertising has kind of fallen apart for games. But Adjust did a report that was a deep dive into the Japanese market, and mobile game installs grew 7% in the first quarter of 2024, and then sessions were up 6% compared to a year ago. So just decent numbers out of Japan for this segment of the market. They, I think they pointed out things like sports games are, primarily played by men. 92% of the player base is male, but 59% of the arcade game players are women, female. So interesting. And let's see. Oh, I'm gonna go to the Tokyo Game Show too.
Yeah. When is that? When is
September 26th starts. Or so.
All right.
And I
still
have not been there before for the Tokyo Game Show, so that'll be interesting.
I've still not been to Japan, which is just on its face stupid that I haven't after all of these years. But
you should go check out what's that museum that Chris Kohler went to?
Oh yes. Oh no.
Went for the original Nintendo company.
The hotel. That was amazing.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah, where the original Nintendo Hanafada building was.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know they turned it into a hotel. I think I'm going to be there during Tokyo Game Show. I had no idea that was when Tokyo Game Show is.
Now you're going to Tokyo Game Show?
Cool. Well, I wasn't intending to, but I'm supposed to be going to Japan at the end of September. So sounds like a good excuse.
So you weren't going to, but now that you found out I'm not going, you're going so you can rub it in my face, is what you're saying.
I'm trying to tilt the balance of power.
My gosh,
and make it so that you have to go.
It's the FOMO effect there.
That's right.
You all are killing me slowly. The crazy is I've been all around the region, just never in Japan. It's ridiculous. I know it's ridiculous. Anyway, good luck, idiots. Going. Well, Mark, how about you?
Yeah.
What are some of the big things? Dean,
Yeah.
Are we good?
Oh, I got a couple more, but
All right.
yeah, go ahead and talk about
Let's
anything
thread
else you
some
guys
in.
have noticed. Or-
Yeah, Mark.
I've taken it on myself now to find good news.
Yes.
So I found one piece of good news I got excited about, and this is an insider piece of good news, which is that John Haidt, who I think you guys probably know, John Haidt led the Warcraft franchise at Blizzard, World of Warcraft, Hearthstone, Warcraft Rebel, Warcraft RTS, had left Blizzard. What's this say? A month ago. I know he left. Anyway, he landed as president of Wizards of the Coast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. High five, John. Congratulations. That's a great pickup for those folks, and I'm really happy for John too.
Yeah, that's a big gain for Hasbro and Wizards of the Coast.
Yeah.
Magic folks there. Yeah.
Pretty awesome. I visited Wizards of the Coast a couple of weeks ago. They're in my neck of the woods. They have this huge office space down kind of where Boeing used to be in south of Seattle a bit. And yeah, it's amazing. I mean, you should go there and see all the sculptures and crazy game rooms and
yeah,
it's pretty awesome.
Another place I haven't been.
I gotta counterbalance your good news with more bad news here.
Oh, here we go.
Sorry about that. Let's see. So there's a company called On, which is shifted into enterprise AI / sports, and they were previously known as Game On Technology.
Okay.
And then we got a hold of a shareholder letter that went out saying that the sort of co-founders and other officers of the company had been asking the CEO for a while about where's the cash that we have from raising $35 million or so, 25 million last year, and they finally seemed to have gotten the information and found that there was 37 cents an account that was supposed to have $11 million in cash. And they didn't know where it went. The CEO, Alex Beckman, resigned early in July, and then they proceeded to have to lay off all 60 people in the company because of this sort of shock and horror of this discovery they had. They found that, I guess, ultimately across different accounts, they had $550,000 left and used that as some kind of severance for all of the employees, which is, just crazy. But yeah, I'm still following any other developments with that, but so far that's the news. So the missing $11 million minus 37 cents is somewhere out there. I don't know.
I wish I could misplace $11 million.
Yeah. So
well, I mean, any of we could, but I think what you mean to say is misplace $11 million and not have it, not cause you to lose sleep. I think that's what you meant.
Back to good news. Amazon gave away a lot of free games on Prime Day. Prime Days this time.
Yes, we did.
So yeah, there was a lot of stuff that went out the door there. Let's see.
Yeah, and that's the
Squad.
You know what? But it feels so much better when it's free, right? So
Rise of the Tomb Raider.
Yeah. There are a bunch of games there.
Lots of good stuff here.
Yeah, and it's a good public service announcement, which is whether it's Prime Gaming or the Epic Game Store, they give away games for free every month. Like all you need to do is download their store application and go collect the games. Like I've got this insane library now, this backlog that I'm like, oh my goodness. And I have an integration piece on my Steam Deck, so I can play them all on my Steam Deck too. GOG, Prime Gaming, and Epic Games. So go check it out. If you're a Prime subscriber, why are you not getting free games? Like it doesn't cost you anything more than what you're already paying. Go get it.
I guess I forgot for the last 5 years or something.
See?
Can I catch up? Is there like a history list?
Because they're what?
Is there like a history list? I can like go back in my messages and get the games that I missed.
No, just go ahead. You know what? Set it up to auto start on your Windows machine, and then it will alert you, and then you'll be good to go. Yeah, they did Baldur's Gate Enhanced Edition, Samurai Bringer, YouTuber's Life 2, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, Wall World, Heaven Dust 2, The Invisible Hand, Projection First Light. I mean, it's just a ton of games that are on there. So,
yeah.
Are you guys watching Exploding Kittens?
Oh, I got through a couple of episodes so far. So, yeah.
Me too.
Fun stuff. We talked about that last week, right?
We did.
The tabletop game that exploded with its $8.7 million Kickstarter when they were trying to raise only 10,000, and that was back in 2015. Became very popular series of card games created by Matt Inman and Ilan Lee and his company, and now it has gone to Netflix as a series and just released last week. So we'll see how that one does. Ilan is going to be a speaker at our next GameSpeak next event in October. So that'll be good. But yeah, it's been fun for me to cover that from the very beginning of the when they first announced the game, and
that's very cool.
Spectacular sort of run for them, and it does sort of validate that whole sort of notion that you can get into games through things like board games and tabletop now, right? And that they've had mobile games along the way as well, and establishing a big IP and experimenting with it on a smaller platform, and then eventually turning it into something much bigger.
I love that.
So nice to see it.
Yeah, especially as we're looking at these as transmedia properties, right? That can fit across all things. But the trick there, as we know, right, and we watched many of our colleagues kind of, go around the horn here, is you have to adapt it appropriately for the medium upon which you are now leveraging, right? So trying to have it skirt too close to the game, right, can be problematic. So yeah, expand your storytelling, expand your lore. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Yep, very cool.
One more thing. Let's see. Evo is the Evolution Championship Series esports event tournament is starting today in Las Vegas with 60,000 plus fans expected to attend the Las Vegas Convention Center event.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
I haven't been to this. Maybe they're playing blockchain games or something. I don't know what it is.
Oh,
Wait a minute. They're playing normal fighting games.
They got the translation. They have the transaction latency down low enough to do that. Oh, see, had we known that, I would have talked to my colleague who had the 8 different LLMs on Bedrock play Street Fighter against each other to see which one could actually win. And that would have been a great demonstration of there to just go, all right, now who wants to step up and beat it? Oh, you all can? Okay, great. There you go. Don't worry. Don't worry about it. You're all good. That's very cool. Very, very cool. Well, go ahead. No, please go.
Oh, just weird thing of the week. There's a pickleball game coming to PC and console. It came out this week. It's called PPA Pickleball Tour on Steam, PlayStation, Xbox, PlayStation 4 too. Farsight Studios made this game. The game's launching on the Switch on July 26th as well. I don't know about you guys, but when I go to the gym and I take a look at the pickleball courts, they are always busy into the night. So
Well, first of all, you go to a gym, so there you go. Congratulations that you do that, making me feel guilty.
I played pickleball once, right?
Yeah.
It was actually quite fun, and I was lying on the ground a couple of times, just having overextended myself.
Oh, yeah, easy to do.
Trying to do a smash or something. Yeah.
I just hope that the pickleball game comes with an entire yacht rock collection of music that you can play along with it, because yeah, that's pickleball right there. The yacht rock of games, of sports.
And we went to Venice Beach during the Games Beach Summit, taking a walk. The pickleball courts had taken over all the sort of tennis courts at the along the beach there. So pickleball is going crazy.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Well, there you go. Yes, we just bought a pickleball set for my son who's about to go away to university. He's like, "Yeah, I need a pickleball set." I'm like, "All right." So
you didn't know pickleball was invented just outside of Seattle, right? I'm just saying, as a Seattleite, thank you for supporting our homegrown sport.
oh, very good. Well, then we need to have some Macklemore and Sir Mix-a-Lot songs to go with them, right?
That would be
amazing. That's good. Woo. Yeah, that is a weird one. That is a weird one, a pickleball game.
I have a couple more interesting stories here to chat about.
Go.
So Modulate has this ToxMod AI sort of anti-toxicity screening for voice chat in games, and they have tried this out on Call of Duty, and for a couple of years or so now, and finally are talking about the results, and the results are quite interesting. Toxicity exposure for any given player now in multiplayer in Call of Duty was reduced 50% in voice chat. And that was for Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer, and then Call of Duty Warzone in North America. And then the newest game, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, there was also a 25% reduction in exposure to toxicity, and then an 8% reduction in repeat offenders month over month, I guess, in Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 as well. So that's pretty amazing results. And what they found then was more lapsed players came back to Call of Duty as well. And so
as a result of cleaning up.
That's pretty amazing results there for just implementing AI into the system. The solution they have is a combination of AI and humans. So most of the very serious moderation is happening on the human side, but the AI is flagging everything now in real time, and it can deliver different levels of warnings, like tier 1, 2, and 3. Tier 1 is just simply a notification that we've detected toxic language in your voice chat, and you might want to be aware of that.
Right.
And then very a lot of most of those types of actions can be automated, and then the humans get involved in the more serious ones.
Yeah. So I would mention that they are a wonderful AWS partner. So they run on AWS, and I've actually done a couple little, we've done a little piece on them, and we're going to have them on a future program that I do call Partner Profiles. We're going to talk about like, how does it work and how does it help and everything else. But this one is a critical thing to not only helping to create an environment that is more inviting to everybody, but it's also helping us to understand context in that data, right? So it's kind of the kill you problem. If you had people that have been playing video games together for years, like we have, and you're like, "Oh, dude, I can't believe you did that. I'm going to kill you when I see you." Like, is that a threat? And how do you sit for that? So understanding the context in which that language is being used is really important to make sure that we have robust models that can more quickly identify real threats and let the ones that are not pass, right? So yeah, they're doing a wonderful job with that. And the right way to think about the use of AI, it doesn't replace things. It helps to make the entire systems that we have, the entirety of the systems you have to operate better, right?
Yeah.
It's very
And then
cool.
for active players on, say, day 3 of their study here, there were 6.3% more active players. On day 7, there were 21.2% more. And then day 21, 27.9% more active players. So those are some serious improvement numbers in player engagement.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Super cool.
And yeah, I have played, let's see, about 33 hours of Call of Duty multiplayer this year. Not as much as usual, level 167, but yeah, I've enjoyed it. I noticed that there isn't as much. Like the focus is gender related insults, I guess, and racial related as well. If you just drop an F bomb in Call of Duty, like nobody cares, right?
Right.
But I've noticed less toxicity as well. I mean, the most annoying things that I come across are people playing loud music, or people playing like a sermon or something.
Wow. Oh yeah.
in their microphones, and
something.
everybody in the whole match gets to hear that.
That is awesome.
Like the equivalent of the guy at the sports game holding up the big sign saying, "You're all going to hell. You're all sinners."
That's right. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like, well, they got beer there.
Music still happens for sure, but not so much on the sermons actually. But
Sure.
they're just sort of more memorable.
Well, Dean, you remind me. There's this YouTuber and TikToker. He goes into like Call of Duty games, and then he talks like he speaks in the same kind of timbre and pace as English translated anime, like for the inside voices. And they're all like, dude, what are you doing? He's like, wow, I hope there are some girls in this lobby and they see my maximum points here. And then he'll make a noise. And then the other people like, dude, what are you doing? Then eventually they catch on and they just egg him on. And it is hilarious. Like it is just, and he's really good at the game, and he's just constantly trolling with this, like, you just don't want me see me hit 9,000. He's like, I'm speaking with my inner voice. How do you hear that? They're like, you're creepy, dude. Get out of here. And I'm like, okay, that's fantastic. Way to go. Good job trolling.
There was a story we didn't cover, but the games industry did, about the Gray Zone Warfare folks, and they launched their extraction game, and
right,
got 900,000 copies out in a month. People said it was buggy and all that, but they got it out, and they're kind of like the latest indie game startup that has had a good launch this year. It's in early access, but still, that's pretty good result for a brand new company trying to go into the shooter space. So watch out, Call of Duty.
Always. And they still seem to top everybody's charts, right? So great job, great franchise, right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
And we had another story, a nice exclusive from Roblox on the different game genres that are real opportunities in Roblox. And I guess they're, everybody thinks of them as one kind of game, probably like Lego bricks games, right? But a lot of them have that art style, but the genres that are opportunities include open world action games, social competition, things like kind of like coveted fashion, where you vote on how good somebody's fashion design is, and things like that.
Yeah.
And then driving and racing and arcade sports are pretty
That was from Tian, right? That was from Tian at
Yeah,
Roblox.
Tian Lim. Yeah, he's.
What's that?
a
And
voice-
I used to work with him at Nintendo a zillion years ago. But
Oh, yeah, nice.
was it? I didn't understand whether the justification of the genres that we're going to be growing genres was that they are growing but slowly, or that they're missing, and so these are things that people could try, or.
I think they have multiple hits within each of these areas, and in some ways that's surprising, and it suggests that there's a lot of fans there among the 77 million daily active players they have. And so if you target those areas, then you might be surprised to find that there's just already a lot of fans there. As far as whether you can break into those categories or whether there's too much competition already, then that's a good question, right? But it pays for the game developers, I think, to pay attention to what are the things that are proving to be popular on this platform, which kind of seems to be known for one kind of game, I guess.
Yeah.
They talk about different tactics you can use, like say growing your community and consistently iterating and identifying experiences that are stream worthy or meme worthy, and so interesting that they've done this research as advice for newer emerging game companies to figure out like what's a good category. I think they've said also that every sort of the more well-known categories are life sim, role-playing, battlegrounds, platformers, and horror as sort of more like mainstay Roblox and
obstacle courses.
And they pointed to these other categories really as like, and you may not know that all this stuff is very popular too.
Very cool.
I should hop back on there. I tend to think of platforms, both hardware and software, as having features and demographics that promote particular genres over others. So the question mark for me is if the genres that they're advocating for align more closely with mainstream game industry genres, is the implication that those other genres are going to slowly go away over time as they try to evolve into this new set? Or is there like a demographic split that's going to happen? Or just going to be curious to watch that, because I definitely think of Roblox as horror and obstacle course, and like the fashion thing that you talked about, the sort of voting games, Adopt Me, just stuff like that. But
yeah, that game has had billions of plays. Adopt Me, and Welcome to Bloxburg, and work at a pizza place.
Work at a pizza place, right? I play that with my nieces over 3 or 4 Christmases in a row, I think.
Yeah, those ones they're all in the billions of plays, and so I don't think those ones are going to go away. But yeah, there's ways to break in, and we had done a story earlier too, and we had a panel at our last summit on Roblox as the way to break into the game industry.
Right.
So I think this is something in Roblox is encouraging that idea of this is where you can still have greenfield success.
But is something that I'll bring up here when you're talking about breaking into the industry, and there are ways to do this. And we've talked before, on this program about different ways to approach the market, right, and get visibility and everything. So one of the things that I like to do, like whenever the Steam sale goes on right now, Epic is doing their summer sale, and so what I'll do is sort right in a variety of different ways. And one of the ways that I like to sort is, well, let me see, show me the sales from lowest price to highest, right? And let's figure out, what's really down there that's super cheap to go ahead and try and taste. And to my surprise, I was hit with a game that I did not expect to see, but now I've discovered it and I can't get it out of my head. And the name of the game is I'm in Love with Your Dead Grandma. And I was like, what? Like, what the hell? So just by being in this sale, I wound up, and I apologize. I wound up. One of my apologies for. I'm sorry that I followed it because I was like, oh my gosh, this is just absolutely. It's so bad that I needed to just sit there and look like at the photos and stuff. They even have an entire theme song that they did that is just, it's terrible. And awesome, like both at the same time. Like the thinnest veneer of a game. It kind of reminds me of like plumbers don't wear ties from 3D, like that era type of full motion video game. Terrible. So there are ways to get discovered. You just have to think differently about your, about the levers and the mechanisms that are available to you. So please don't go play that game.
Too late.
Oh no.
Been looking for it. I'll check later.
Terrible.
I wanted to revisit a column that I did last week. It was called "In the Shadow of Antitrust Laws," and a fair amount of it was about Apple agreeing to terms for payment services with the European Union last week, and now they're going to have third-party or alternative payment services able to use the tap and pay features of non near field communications in Apple phones now, right? And they've never been exposed or opened before in that way. And then I had sort of also noted that the Xbox Game Pass price increase that Microsoft talked about is kind of a something that I expected to catch the attention of the FTC.
And it did,
because because raising prices for consumers is definitely an anti-competitive effect of consolidation in the market. And Microsoft had argued that it was going to make Call of Duty available on every platform still, and even if it acquired it and it could take it exclusive for the sake of competitiveness in the market, it was not going to take Call of Duty exclusive. But this is a surprise that the FTC is not happy about. That is, they're raising prices for Game Pass by a few dollars if you want to get things like Call of Duty, the day one games. So, just an interesting sort of observation. I think that the FTC might not be done with their antitrust investigations.
Yeah.
Of course, if if the government changes in a few months, maybe it will be done.
I'm sorry, Dean, we're having trouble hearing you.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah,
there was something that caught Susan's eye before we go, I guess, which was that A16Z's founders, Ben Horowitz and Mark Andreessen, came out and endorsed Trump in the U.S. presidential election, and one of the reasons they noted was that he's in favor of cryptocurrency and Biden is not. And so in some ways people looked at that. There's a lot of reaction to that on social media, and noted that's kind of like putting on your sort of narrow eyeglasses there to focus on one particular issue and ignoring sort of many other issues that could happen from such a presidency. Interesting change in direction for them. They were pro-Democrats before, and now they're pro-Trump. So, I think people will react to things like this, and we'll see what kind of fallout there is.
I lost several hours of my life yesterday to randomly yelling at people on Twitter and then deleting my post before I hit the send button.
Yeah.
Just happens sometimes.
Oh my goodness.
Back more on target for us. Artificial Agency also raised $60 million $16 million for its AI-powered behavior for games. So going beyond smarter NPCs, but looking at any kind of behavior and bringing generative AI to it. So I don't know much more than that as far as what that means, but
That's what I was going to ask you.
interesting opportunities for improvisational emergent gameplay, they say.
Ah, got it. Okay. So using Gen AI in production, not in development, but in production, and using it not for NPCs, but for other things like generating lore, or something like this. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's definitely lots of opportunity there. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Good job, you guys. 16 million.
Yeah, so
That's
very
very cool.
interesting to see another fairly large funding happen there in that space. I mean, it's almost getting kind of late now to be an AI company in games. Everybody else has sort of stampeded into the door before you, but these guys were operating in stealth for a bit as well. So.
Yeah. Well, I think what the heck was I just going to tell you?
Cauliflower, broccoli, papaya.
No, none of
Well,
those.
our also add Echo Chunk raised $1.4 million for more AI-based puzzle games, some of which in what they call their Blitz mode is made by AI. And the game is like a chess game where you become what you eat. Whereas, like you can move your a piece around the board and take out something like a bishop, and then you become the bishop, and then
it's Kirby chess.
So the last thing you want to become, last thing you want to take is a pawn, right?
I love that. What if you take a king, then you have two kings? Oh wait, no, then they don't have a king. Okay.
Right. I did remember. I did remember what I wanted to say. I was speaking with friend of the show and friend to the industry and friend to each of us, right? Amir Satvat yesterday, and he is going to join us as a guest on one episode upcoming. So we're going to work all of that out for schedules, which, I can't wait to get him in. Isn't that right? Yay! We're going to have Amir join us. But we were talking about the current climate for investment and jobs opening back up. And, he's like, look, with all the numbers that I see and the metrics that are happening, we still can see that it's on the rise, right? So I think, Dean, as we talked about either last week or maybe even the week before, that, his predictions about like the September timeframe of this going upward seems to be holding true and holding course. So that's great.
Cool.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, I love it.
All right, what are you guys playing? We're running out of time.
Well, we're running out of time, but if you have a few more minutes, I do, because there are two things I wanted to share. One goes back to what we were talking about with regard to finding an audience and ways to get noticed. There was an article on another website, which was gamesindustry.biz, about how the small studio won over Netflix to make a Queen's Gambit game. And it was literally the team just reached out an email and said, we've got an idea. We have this. And they were like, okay, let's hear it. And then they got to go ahead and make this game. Like, I'm obviously, paraphrasing, but really, really cool. Like, and it's the thing that I'm sure, we tell our kids and we advise people coming in the industry, just ask. The worst they're going to tell you is no. So just ask the question, take the shot. So I love that was one of the stories that popped up there. There was another opinion piece about it's not just the price tag, but premium games don't fit on mobile, right? And we've kind of seen a lot of that not over the past few years, since smartphones really, kind of on the rise. And we saw like the numbers in terms of cost to bring things like Resident Evil natively onto the phone. Like the numbers don't match, like, the numbers and revenue generated are never going to cover, right, the cost of getting it over there. And so I've always said for a very long time, it's not about putting that big game on the phone. It's what about that big game is appropriate and contextually right for that device. And much like we talked about before with Exploding Kittens, it's not about bringing the game to this other medium. It's about tailoring it for the advantages that new medium provides. It's the same thing when you're looking at devices. Stop thinking about how you get it just onto the device, but how do you make it fit right appropriately on the device. So it was a good opinion there. And then the one last piece from a retro game nerd is this group called Super Sega. They have built an FPGA Sega console, and their goal is for it to play all from the SG-1000 forward, all of the medium. So you could put in cartridges from the 1000, the Genesis, 32X, CDs for Sega CD, Dreamcast, and Sega all in one machine. I wish him the best of luck. That's a tall ass order, especially for that Saturn. But yeah, that was my big nerd. I'm like, ooh, another project to not finish for me.
Awesome.
But yeah, to your question there, Mark, what are you playing? Well, I know what Mark's playing because my Steam alert pops up and goes, Animal Well. And I'm like, damn it. Okay, yeah, I need to go play Animal Well.
That's going to happen again in about 2 minutes.
I'm still playing Unity of Command 2, so getting probably 30 hours in on that. I conquered Normandy already, so on to the next part of the World War II.
That's awesome.
But yeah, I have to head off to another call. But
okay, yeah. Well, I just want. Yeah, I want to thank you guys for joining today. I want to thank everyone that joined either of the two streams. It seems like we have finally gotten all of the issues worked out around streaming. So, yeah, so we got all of that done. And so we're going to continue doing this. And we're going to bring some additional news as I get time on calendar with my co-host here to talk about guests we want to bring on and some ideas I have around doing some stuff that's interactive, maybe even looking to play a game with the audience too about game news. I've got all this stuff kind of in a laundry list of things to do, but we're going to go ahead and tackle that later. So I want to thank my co-host, of course, Dean Takahashi, Mark DeLoura, for joining us this Friday on Boss Rush. Make sure you go ahead and let people know about this event that we do every Friday. Make sure that you put it on your calendar. Thanks, everyone, for joining us, and have an awesome rest of your day and a great weekend. We'll see you next week on Boss Rush. Bye, guys.
thanks, Chris. Thanks, everybody.